This is the story of jazz singer Renee Ansell.
Be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie.
Renee began singing in dance halls when she was 14, at a time when Benny Goodman, Duke Ellington and Ella Fitzgerald were household names. 76 years later, she was still performing to audiences captivated by her personality and the quality of her voice.
I love you, yes I do.
At 90 years old and with failing health, Renee summoned the strength for one final recording session with her favourite band, Harry's Tricks. And this song, For All the Men Out There, she used to say, was one of the last Renee sang.
So be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. All of me, why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you?
Renee was born in Southampton on April the 30th, 1923. Her father, Jack Marks, was a leading shipping agent. As a child, Renee used to visit the docks with him, where she'd often meet some very well-known people.
People booked through him because he was so efficient, and also a very, very lovely man. And he used to take me with him everywhere. I was about 11, I think, and he used to take me on these. I've been on every big boat, Berengaria, the Leviathan, all the American boats, and he used to lead me. I used to run around with the autograph book, see who was on it, And I used to look through this. Oh, Fred Astaire said, can I come? Yeah, he took me with him, so I've got his picture and autograph. 4 o'clock in the morning, I met him with his wife. I saw Wallace Beery, he was a very old film star, drunk. Several of them were drunk. Many boxers came to our house. He loved boxers. Oh, loads of English people. Mary Pickford, all that lot. Douglas Fairbanks Jr., all that lot. The whole family. Harry Roy was married to Princess Baba from Sarawaki or something. I've got his autograph in there. Buddy Rogers, he was her husband, Mary Pickford's husband. Oh, Loopy Velez. When I put the telly on with the old films, you see all these old film stars in it. Yeah. Billy Barnes, my father used to play poker with in London. No end of band leaders and people like that. I've got a letter from Bing Crosby, dated 1937, on Christmas Eve. So when I sing White Christmas, they look at me like I'm mad. And also, if you look up Leighton and Johnson, they were a coloured pair, and Johnson was very handsome with white hair, although he's black. And Turner Leighton wrote After You've Gone. And I didn't know that. And they played on my piano, because I used to play piano. Yeah. Also, we had a parrot that used to sing. And I used to sing to the parrot. My dad used to say, Renee, make the parrot sing, and they used to all love to come and listen to this parrot singing.
Before long, encouraged by her father, Renee got a chance to sing in public.
The first time I sang was with Roy Fox, who was a very famous American trumpet player, and I was 14. I've got the newspaper cutting somewhere about that, at the Guildhall, Southampton. He was a friend of my dad's. My dad had booked his passage over, and my father had happened to say, my daughter can sing. Now, there were 2,000 people there that night, and the only reason I couldn't see him was because I'm short-sighted, Otherwise, I never would have gone on that stage. There was, it was masses there dancing. And I sang, and it's in the paper. And the local band leader from Southampton then, he came up to me, would you like to sing with us every week? You got the makings of a very good singer. And from then on, I sang to the troops during the war, and in Southampton, in the hospital and all around there. I never thought war was going to break out. You know, I signed up being stupid, and they called me out for service. I did nursing auxiliary, and I was petrified of blood. I joined up to be a telephonist. Oh, and this is a little story. In Southampton, when a lot of the French soldiers came, I don't know if it was Dunkirk or where they were that day, but the place was full of them, and it was on a Sunday. My father rang up the mayor to open the baths for them to wash themselves, and they wouldn't do it. So we lived opposite the docks, and so all the neighbours opened up their doors, and we hosed these soldiers down. And me in my little uniform, I got it somewhere, picture, they all came to me because they thought I was cute, you see, and bandaging this up. I hadn't a clue what I was doing. Well, and that day was wonderful.
During those early war years, Renee sang regularly for servicemen in Southampton. Her father was always keen to see Renee perform on stage, but her mother was not so enthusiastic.
My father was a lovely man and very sociable. He had to be in his business, meeting people. And my mother didn't want to go anywhere, so he doted on her, but she didn't want to go anywhere. No, she didn't encourage me. She stopped me going to America. I had a big audition to go like Shirley Temple, and I had a 200-foot film made in Southampton, in the park, and it was crowded with people doing the Charleston and the Black Bottom. But I always wanted to dance. That was the first thing, before singing. Everywhere I went, I wanted to dance. And I did an Irish dance on board one of the ships, and a clog dance on board one of the ships. I saw a State Fair and all the old films they were making, and I remember seeing Al Jolson in sitting there crying. He was singing Sonny Boy. I was sitting there crying in the cinema with my grandma in Southampton. That's a long time ago.
As a major port, Southampton suffered extensive bombing during the war, and a near miss one night led to Renee and her family moving away.
We lived opposite the docks, down the end of this road. That's how near it was. And what happened, one of the stupid soldiers on top of one of the things in Southampton docks bombed the place there because someone did some shooting at him, and it was a butter factory, and they thought it was munitions or something. So the light from the butter factory shone right the way down and lit our windows up, and all the windows blew out of our place. And my father said, you've got to get out, so come down to Brighton. We had relatives here, so we came down here. Every night, regularly, at 6 o'clock, we knew the Germans were coming. So we took our knitting and our music and our cards, sandwiches, underneath St. Peter's Church. And then when the all clear went, we all came out. We knew regularly. We saw them going in the sky. You know, we were a bit frightened about it, whether... They didn't bomb Brighton, you know, they only unloaded here. Unfortunately, they killed a lot of people doing that, but we rented this flat round by opposite the Astoria that was. Astoria had a bomb there, near the Astoria cinema that was, and Morley Street, I think it's a nightclub now, isn't it? That, right on the corner, a bomb fell there where I was out at work, working, and they phoned me up to come, and I said all I was worried about was the parrot in the bedroom. We were lucky we were out that day, we wouldn't have been alive. But that was down there, then we had to move somewhere else. So we moved in Grand Parade then. In Brighton here, I sang for 5 years on the seafront in Norfolk Hotel. And the band that I sang with was called Joe Kay, and he was from the Ritz Hotel. They moved down here to get away from the bombs. And at the weekends, some weekends, a lot of his pals like Ambrose, Vera Lynn, they came for the weekend to get away from the bombs. So that's where I met Vera Lynn there. I sang more at Sherry's. I was there for 9 months during the war. Well, they had a balcony where Brighton Week, the race gangs used to get up. Sometimes had fights up there, but it was notorious. But it had a wonderful, wonderful atmosphere. We had 2 bands, one either side. And when I came from Southampton that day, I went in there. We'd heard all about it. I asked the band leader, Jerry, I think his name was, if I could sing. He said, we don't allow people to sing here. We have to get permission from Mecca or something. So I said, but I sang with Roy Foss. So they let me sing. Then he engaged me the next day, rang up London, and I was there for 9 months during the war. But they had ballroom dancing there, world champions, and the atmosphere was incredible. But the Regent was a bit more classy. Yeah, a bit more classy. And the floor in the Regent was the best ever. But Sherry's was very good, very good. Happy days they were.
In spite of all the difficulties of travelling during the war, Renee did manage the occasional trip to London.
I did sing once at the Astoria with Sid Dean. He was up there that day, but the bombs were up there and I was living here, so could get up there, up and down. Oh, I went, had an audition with a very famous band leader called Stanley Black. He was the BBC's bloke in Soho, and he played for me, and he said at the time, he said, you're better than all the people I have to accompany, they can't sing. And we made a record, a proper record upstairs. That's the one I've got. It's Young and Foolish, it's called.
And here is that recording, just about audible over the crackles and pops. Just as her singing career was blossoming, Renee met her future husband, James Ansell.
When I came to live down here, I had a girlfriend, and I said, let's go to the greyhound track. It was curiosity, really, but I didn't even know how to bet. We just looked that day, and he stood at the side of me, this man. I said, can you mark me any winners? And he marked 6. So, of course, next week I said to my friend, going up there, we won about £2. We didn't know what we were doing. So I said, let's go and see if that man's there. So he wasn't there. His friend was there. He was ill. So he went back and told him. And then he came into the Norfolk Hotel and he said, what are you doing here? I said, I'm singing in here. So he said, do you want, can I buy you a drink or a cigarette? I said, I don't smoke or drink. So he said, you'll be cheap to take out then. Then he was ill. Then he phoned me and then he came to see me. His parents had died, and my parents knew his mother and father as it happened, and he came to live with us in the spare room upstairs in Clarence Square. Unfortunately, he had a job at on the seafront in Bognor, where the housey more or less invented that, and he had a stall down below the pier where they used to get tea sets and everything for presents, and the bookmaker who owned the place in Bognor was a bookmaker, so all his wages went on gambling. I never saw it. No, nothing he thought about was gambling. He liked music, but not to the extent that I did, but he could tolerate it. But no, a pack of cards was better.
If that wasn't enough, not long into their marriage, James delivered his bombshell.
He just said, I don't want you singing anymore, that's all. And then I was pregnant on my first night, so that finished everything. Yeah. I had no choice, I think. I didn't have any money. Well, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have stayed with him had I not had my son like that. After, my father used to get very cross at the way he used to talk to me like an animal, the same as he used to speak to the children when they were born. No, I'm very placid. I don't like arguments. I just like to talk it out. Jack, I don't like that sort of thing. No, he was the opposite. I don't know. I wasn't in love with him. I don't think we knew what it was years ago. I really don't. No. I had 4 children. And one who died, but I had 4. But, no. It was a sad life because I never bothered with men. He was the only one, and he showed no affection whatsoever about anything. And that was it.
It wasn't until the 1970s, when her children were grown up, that Renee ventured out with her friend from across the road and began to sing regularly in public again.
She said, do you like music? I said, yes. I said, oh, yes, I used to sing. So she took me everywhere with her. She used to get lifts everywhere, and all the friends were musicians and everywhere. So I went everywhere with her. He said, all right, you can go, if you want to go tonight or something, because I went several times. And then I started to sing with various jazz bands around the town. And that's how it more or less started with her, I think, because I had no one else to go with. Well, he went out gambling. He didn't care. Yeah, he knew where I was, But, oh no, she didn't like him very much anyway.
I saw you last night and got that old feeling when you came inside. I got that old feeling.
Wonderful feeling to do it again because apart from an occasional record or something, I didn't play much music or watch whatever. Oh no, that was wonderful, wonderful. And when I think, what I've lost money-wise, it's horrible. Now he used to say, who do you think you are at your age going out doing this? That's it. I don't know whether you couldn't have been jealous of me. How could you be jealous? Perhaps he thought I'd meet somebody, I don't know. No one to talk with, all by myself. No one to walk with, I'm happy on the shelf. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you. I like the more intimate ones like we do now in the pubs. We get up in all the pubs. Used to go to, I had a friend who had a motor car, so we used to get a lift. Hassocks with some of the boys out there doing trad jazz. They're still around. Anywhere where I can sing, really. Because they got to know me. They knew I could do it. But no, it was wonderful doing it again. And it's come out even better now than it ever was. I don't stay out late, don't care to go. I'm home about 8, me and my radio. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you.
Possibly making up for lost time, Renee fulfilled a lifelong ambition, a trip to New Orleans.
Well, I had to go to Canada to see my grandchildren, who I'd never seen. And my son at the time was doing quite well in business. So he said, let's go on to New Orleans. Well, I'd saved up the money and took my daughter with me. So we went there, and I got up one night and sang a Dixieland bar. It's still there, I think. And I sang one number and they wanted me to sing more. And then when I even stopped in the street, are you the lady that sang last night? That, you know, and it was lovely. Oh, lovely feeling. But that was a thrill, that really was. And on the riverboat. That was a thrill too. Down the Mississippi. I mean, I've not travelled. I've only been to Canada and there. I've never wanted to go to Spain and all these other places. Didn't interest me. But there, that did. And the people were so lovely.
Renee's rediscovered voice also got her onto ITV's X Factor. She remembers Simon Cowell well.
He said to me, what would you sing? Can you sing anything in the charts? I said, that's all unadulterated rubbish. And of course, that was edited out. Then he said to Louis Walsh, would you work with this lady? So he said, of course I'd work with this lady. And Sharon shouted out, she's a real singer. So that's when he put me down to pass through. I'd love to sing with Tony Bennett. Oh, I'd love to sing with him. I saw him at Eastbourne, he was wonderful. Any of those I could sing with. And Barry Manilow, I didn't like him on television, and you know, he's not a handsome bloke, but he's very talented. And his stage presentation is dancing, singing, talking to you. Wonderful, wonderful. I'd love to sing with him. But Tony Bennett would be my dream at the moment. I could do things with him.
Renee felt that her singing improved with age, and that life's ups and downs had given her voice more emotion. One of the downs came with the ending of a close friendship later in life.
More than you know, more than you know. Man of my heart, I need you so. Lately I find you're on my mind. More than you know.
More than you know, the day this bloke dumped me, he sang it to me. And that was our song. He sang it to me, and then I never saw him again. He was musical. He said his father was a Canadian soldier that used to sit in at the Regent years ago, and with a band. And we both liked the number, and he would sit and sing. He could sing, and we sang together. And he used to say, "No, I'll sing it to you. Don't sing it to me." And that's the song we chose. It was a lovely old jazz number, and that was our special singer. So I'm singing it to him from here when I sing.
Oh, how I cried, oh, how I cried, if you were gone and said goodbye. More than you know, more than you ever know.
More comes out, more feeling, a lot more feeling in the words, because they're all old songs. The lyrics were very good, and unless you sing them with feeling, they just don't register now. People just sing them.
And perhaps that is why people of all ages love to hear Renee sing in the local pubs.
When you're far away, and when you leave me, you know it's gonna grieve me.
People pass by, and they heard us singing, and they liked it. They came in, and that's how they've got so many people there. He said to me, we didn't used to have so many people coming here until you came. So he said, it's more or less through you that we've got all these people. And they like the music, they like the old songs. They often come up and say, we haven't heard anything, it's our wedding anniversary, you've made our day. We played this when we were young, and when we danced to the music, it's lovely. Oh yes, they love it. A lot of people. You don't really think they're listening, but they are.
You'll miss me only when I'm away.
Of course, most 90-year-olds would have given up years before, but not Renee. That's what made her so special.
For when you leave me, you know it's gonna grieve me. You're gonna miss your red hot mama some of these days.
I didn't think I'd get to 90. I take about 25 tablets a day, so I don't know what they are. The thing which is wonderful is, I think, the memory. I can remember all the words of the songs from years and years and years ago, you know.
Grab your coat and get your hat.
The war years were very good. Can't complain about the war years. And all the Canadian soldiers. No Englishmen here. Very nice. Had no trouble with any of them. I nearly married a Canadian soldier. I wish I had done. I should have done. He was a Jeannie Kelly double and danced and sang. And at the Regent they used to stand round to watch him. It was incredible. And he sang. I don't know what's the matter with me. I was bonkers.
I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade. But I'm not afraid this rover cross over. If I never had a cent, I'd be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street.